The only people that men really simp for is other men. Michael B. Jordan says he's proud of Jonathan Majors' resilience and he'd work with Majors again after his assault conviction. He says Majors is doing great, just got engaged. I'm proud of his resilience and his strength through it all and his handling of it, Jordan told GQ. I'm glad he's good. That's my boy. Mind you, we are talking about not an assault accusation. We're talking about an assault conviction. Tell me how this is not simping. Let's actually look up the definition of simping right here. According to Urban Dictionary, simping is the act of doing too much for someone you like. And yes, you are doing too much. Coming out in support of a man who has been convicted of assault, not just accused, not just tried and convicted. He lost the case. He was accused of assault. He's been fired by Marvel, everyone that was going to work with him, and he basically ruined his own life into shambles. There's recordings of him being abusive, exhibiting crazy-making behavior with women, and another man will look at that and straight up be like, that man is so resilient. Like, that man is a convicted assaulter. You're gonna be like, he's resilient and strong. You're a fucking simp. I'm so sorry to tell you that, but you're a fucking simp. You are doing way too much. You could have just not said anything. For one, you could have not said anything. But this just shows how immune men feel because of bro code. How untouchable men really feel, because they're not afraid to come right out and align themselves with a convicted assaulter, with a convicted abuser, because they'd much rather do that than look like a simp for women. So instead of just keeping his mouth shut, or instead of saying like, oh, I feel bad for the victims, I might have been on his side before this whole thing started, before he was convicted, but I know that courts require proof beyond a reasonable doubt. So whatever happened in that courtroom, he was found guilty of it. I can't really defend him anymore. I can't really align myself with. That's horrible that he would do that to a woman. That would have gotten him labeled as a simp. That. Because if you check the video I made right before this, for some reason, Serena Williams' husband standing up for her and protecting her on the internet, that got labeled him as a beta and as a simp. Anytime that men choose to align themselves with women instead of other men, they get labeled a beta and a simp. And so that's why they don't do that, because they hate us enough that our assaults, the domestic violence committed against us, is like water under the bridge to them, because that's their friend. And he's the strong and resilient one for making it through this entire court case, of which he was proven and convicted as guilty. He's the strong and resilient. That's my boy. That's bro code for y'all. Just making sure that y'all never forget this shit exists. This shit is real. Men will literally look at a convicted abuser, convicted assaulter, and be like, that's my boy, rather than align themselves with the women that this man abused. And beyond that, it's like, you're Michael B. Jordan. Like, you generally, as far as women go, you have like general goodwill. And men do not care. They will squander all the goodwill that they've ever had with women who are actually the reason for their popularity and success, just to say that's my boy about a convicted assaulter. It's like, you could have not said anything. And here's the thing. When a woman comes out accusing someone, men love to stay neutral. Men love to be like, well, until the evidence comes out, like whatever. When it comes to a man, there is no staying neutral. You're not even staying on the side of the facts, Like, a man will be tried, convicted, and sentenced, and other men will be like, nah, he didn't do it. There's just no logic. There's absolutely no logical through line to this other than misogyny. And that's the part I don't want y'all to miss, because it's easy to miss it. It's easy to say, oh, he's just stupid. No, he's not stupid. He's misogynistic. He doesn't like women. He likes men on a human level more than he likes women. That's the only reason he would say that. The only reason he would say that. Whereas women are expected to always condemn the bad behavior of other women, right? Women can never be on the side of a woman who is doing something wrong and not get completely railroaded for it. If I came out here like I have before and said, oh, I stand with Blake Lively, or oh, I stand with Amber Heard, it would be like, yeah, but what about this, but what about that? And that would come from other women, mind you, and it would come from men, but it would also come from other women, because women have this fucking idea that we should hold each other to like these really high standards. Remember that men will stand beside each other after everything is said and done, after the conviction has been printed on the paper in ink. They'll be like, that's my boy. So yeah, stay safe out there, ladies, and never trust a man with your life. There's always going to be a man out there that they're willing to forgive for convicted assault on a woman. Stay safe out there.
They're always simping for each other, always. But they're never going to simp for women. Because simping for women, they equivalated to weakness, they equivalated to someone with no dignity, they equivalated to just you being a lesser person. And for being a lesser person, or identifying women on a subconscious level, even though they're not aware of it, that they deem women as lesser significant. They may not say it sometimes. Sometimes they will. But initial point still remains factual. That men do not see women. They do not respect women. They hold women to that standard if they do crime on the same level as men. They trial them the same way. They be like, oh, even women do this. Same way, completely. If they're evil, women are evil, blank period. Even though we know that majority of the crime, historically past and present, are committed by men, but they're still going to tell you that women are the mastermind. And oftentimes, they save me if they want to save me from other men. Right? They're saving me from another man's intention to harm me, because they're not saving me from another woman. They'll be like, I'm gonna save you from you. Dude, please, how do you save me from me? That would be like a me problem, not a you problem. That would be my responsibility to take care of myself. No? Okay. Because I would expect that. Do you know how irritating it is at times? Sometimes I get bored listening to men talk about how they build the world and societies and stuff like that. But when you look at the civilization, it's crumbling to the ground because we can barely survive. We can barely survive. And they talk about men changing things. Look at the state of our countries. Look at the land. Look at the resources. They want to talk about fighting things. They talk about men leadership. You cannot run the country, let alone run a household. They be like, you belong in the kitchen. Bye.